What is happening, people? Frank here from inside the garage. You guys rock. We're covering an Infiniti. It's got a hesitation. It doesn't do it all the time. Let's take it up for a drive and find out what's wrong with the Infiniti. All right, so we're gonna test drive the Infiniti. The Infiniti's pretty clean for 170 some odd thousand miles, and quite frankly, doesn't seem to drive that bad. So after a few miles of driving, mainly on service roads, I haven't taken this out on the freeway yet, but it's when I'm taking off, ever so slightly, it's got a little bit of a tip-in hesitation. Let's get it back in the garage, pop the hood, get it up in the air, and see what we can find. All right, so now we got it comfy and cozy in the bed. The first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna go with basics. We're not gonna whip out all the ammo, all the high test equipment, all the, I like to call it the X-ray and the MRI equipment. What you guys can do is actually hook up just a basic code puller, because we really want to get inside and find out what's going on with the check engine light that is happening. That's going to get us into the basics. So it gives you some basic, real basic information. I want you guys to understand something. You cannot, in most occasions, just diagnose a vehicle with a code reader. It is absolutely just a basic function. To determine faults, you need to test. Remember that. All right, so you're gonna find your data link connector. On most newer vehicles, they're located on the lower left side, down by where your left foot would be. Sometimes they're in a protective cover. You pull that cover, check your owner's manual, you can find where the location is. If you have any questions, get in the comments and I can lead you in the right direction for your particular vehicle. So your diagnostic code reader is going to look very similar to this. So you're going to go in and you're actually going to do the diagnostic lookup. Now we're kind of snapshotting. It is communicating directly with that data link connector. It's processing. Now some of these code readers will read faster than others, and as you can see right in here, try to get that focused in for you guys. There it is. So we have DTC drivability trouble codes in the electronic control unit. We've got listed one. And we can also look at a few other things. We're not going to dive into the readiness monitors. Perhaps we'll do that in a future video. So once you've got that in there, now you're going to read the codes. Current drivability, you can also look at pending, which just means that there may have been some codes set but not triggering a check engine light. Maybe the computer has recorded an event. But right now we want to see what hard hits we've got, so we go in and there you are. And look at that, we've got a PO171, which is a system lean bank 1 fault. So it's an indication that this engine is sucking in more air than it should be. So let's get under the hood and see what that's all about. So a lean fault again just means that the engine is sucking way too much more air. What's going to happen is it's going to offset that air fuel mixture. 14.7 to 1 is kind of the air fuel mixture balance. If you're sucking in more air into your engine, you're actually going to need more fuel, and that's going to create gas mileage issues and create this stumble that we have. So in most occasions, you can do a simple visual and you'll probably find that you've got a vacuum line, or in this case what we've got is an air intake snorkel or boot, that whole air induction boot. That's a funnel. That has to be extremely sealed. If it's violated and it's causing some air to go in the system, that's going to trigger that check engine light. All right, here's a quick tip. If you just got an oil change done and that check engine light comes on and you got a surge or a hesitation, more than likely the air box is not secured properly. Remember to slow your oil changes down. You shouldn't be treating your oil change like you would a drive-through cheeseburger experience. Alright, so most of these air smokers, they're pretty easy to replace, they're easy to remove, but one thing you want to make sure of is that you're very careful. Some of these guys incorporate plastic components that may be good, and all you're doing is replacing the rubber section. As you can see here, white is light. There's the problem right there, and that guy right there, if it's sucking air, you're going to have a problem. Now here's a tip. Duct tape, keep it in the trunk, because if you've got a situation with one of these guys and you're on the side of the road, that duct tape you can wrap around temporarily and that'll get you by for an exit or 2 or 3. You can use duct tape. Now here's another tip. these guys can be caused to break by bad engine mounts. In this case here, this is not an Infiniti mount, but for demonstration purposes, you can see where this mount just sort of separates with no problem. And what will happen is that engine will move excessively, pulling on that whole air snorkel, and in fact it's going to pull on a ton of other items like the engine harness and electrical components. So make sure that the engine mounts are squared away. Alright, we're going to get the air induction system taken care of, get this Infiniti back on the road. We're actually going to give it a tune-up, easy peasy. I want to thank you guys. I get a ton of subscribers in the last 30 days. Thumbs up to you, man. I appreciate you guys. If you have any questions about this video or any other videos that are out there, please comment in the section. And if you have a particular car repair issue, the best way to do this, people, I'm going to chime in the link to Twitter @YouAreMechanic, and I'll live stream right here from inside our garage the answer to your question the best I can. So if you like the videos, thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. That's all good. I'm Frank. Thanks for hanging on this edition of Inside the Garage.